Everyone, I wanted to talk a little bit about the documentary about Andy Warhol. This documentary was so informative and it was really enjoyable to watch. I'm going to hit on the main points that I felt were important in this documentary. I would like to start off with his birth. He was born in Pittsburgh in 1928 and he came from a poor family. His mother was very artistic, and he spent most of his young childhood with his mother because he had rheumatic fever at the age of 8, I believe. And it turned into a condition from the rheumatic fever where he had spasms and he had pains when it came to physical contact, and he would have tremors and slurred speech. So he was very self-conscious about this. Also, because of the rheumatic fever, he developed a skin condition where he lost the pigment in his skin, so he was almost ghost-like looking, or like almost like transparent. And he was really bothered by this. So he spent most of his childhood with his mother, who was very poor, and he would draw with her and make collages, and this is probably the beginning of his artistic ability that we learn in this documentary. It also talks a little bit about his father. His father did die when he was young, and the one thing his father did tell his brothers was that he had $1,500 saved up and he wanted Andy to go to art school. I thought this was important because it illustrates that he had such a brilliant mind and so much talent at a young age that he was destined to be as popular as he is today. I'd like to also talk about a technique that Andy perfected, which was the blotted line artistic technique, and which was so interesting about this is that he would take a painting and he would mirror the image by folding it over, and it was just very interesting to see how it took compared to the original drawing, and he uses this later on in his artwork. Andy was very known for his commercial art, and this kind of hurt him when he was trying to find himself as an actual artist, because it was frowned upon in the art community. His first big break was with Glamour magazine, and when they did publish his drawing, they forgot to add the A at the end, so he never corrected that, and he used that, and it was kind of his trademark throughout his whole art career. So I thought that was kind of interesting, because when I first watched the video, I saw that it was spelt differently than it was in the class syllabus, and I was like, I wonder why the A was dropped at the end. Well, that was why. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I wanted to inform everyone about that. Because Andy grew up so poor, and he was a struggling artist in the beginning, in his young adults, like early 20s. He actually had a nickname, and I thought it was kind of mean just because he had such a rough childhood and upbringing. They would call him Raggedy Andy because of his clothing, and Paper Bag Andy because when he transported his paintings and drawings to try to get into art galleries and such, you know, because he didn't have a lot of money, he would transport them in paper bags, and you know, people thought that was kind of funny. I don't know. I thought it was kind of mean, but I guess he shows everyone in the end, right? What else would I like to talk about? He met some people in his career that, you know, didn't care for him. They were world-renowned artists, such as like Jones and Rosenberg, and partially they didn't want to associate with him because he was known for his commercial art, and the other half was because we find out in this documentary that Jones and Rosenberg are homosexual. And back in this particular era, homosexuality wasn't accepted, so it was hidden. And Andy was a homosexual, and through the documentary you see he's more feminine and displays more homosexual characteristics. So they were afraid that their secret would come out if they were to converse or bring Andy underneath their wing to help him start his art career off. His drawings are remarkable. Because of, I believe, because of his commercial experience and commercial art, he knew how to hook people in and seduce them with his creative art and his imagery. And it came out as you go on in the documentary how he becomes famous with his Campbell soup paintings and his images and his silk screening with stars and actors and actresses, which were very important to him because he always had this desire to become famous. So I believe that was important. There were also some other names of other artists that could have helped him get his claim to fame earlier than he did, but they weren't very supportive. Karp was one of them. Glazor, I think that's how you say it. They weren't very supportive, but I really did enjoy at the end at his final exhibit. They were all there, and they saw how remarkable he was. So that was kind of a nice little look at me now kind of haha moment for him, which I was really happy, just because he was so sick as a child, and having this shy temperament and so, I guess, so unsure of himself and portrayed himself as ugly, and he had no self-esteem, that it was really cool to see that everyone that rejected him ended up being at his big debut and saw how special Andy was. Going on into his lack of self-esteem, I found it kind of interesting that he did get a nose job done to try to fix his imperfections, as he thought, which was didn't turn out to be too successful, which I found interesting because of just the era that he grew up in. I didn't think plastic surgery was very popular at this time, and especially for a male to do something like that to try to fit in with, I guess, the normality of society, kind of showed how bad he felt about himself. And I think that was important because I believe he used art as a form to release his inner personality and his inner character, because he wasn't able to talk to people and be in a social environment without being uncomfortable. So I thought that was something that should be mentioned. I'd also like to talk about his Campbell soup painting. So it was purchased for $1,000, which we're thinking, okay, big deal, right? Well, the Museum of Modern Art in New York ended up buying this painting for $15 million. $15 million for 32? I believe it was 32 Campbell soup paintings. That is absolutely remarkable. And if you look at its net worth today, it's believed to be irreplaceable in over $100 million. So I thought that was absolutely mind-blowing, and I'm so pumped for Andy because he wanted to be a star, and he really is. They have some people that come in and talk about Andy in the documentary. One, his name was Billy Name, and he points out the Marilyn Monroe paintings and Andy's remarkable talent to use color to express these paintings and imagery, which I thought was pretty amazing, and how you have to do it with the color first and then the actual painting on top of it. So to have that eye and an imaginative creativeness to do something like that, I thought was just really cool. He did focus on important parts of history and incorporate that into his artwork. And the one that they talked about at the end of the documentary was the John F. Kennedy and his assassination. And to see the pictures of him and the First Lady together and then see her in mourning was really moving, because even today it was one of the most traumatic events that happened in America history. So overall, this documentary was really cool. Overall, I have mixed emotions for Andy. I am like so pumped for him that he turned into, fame and stardom that he always wanted, but he did really have a tough upbringing, and he had a lot of odds against him, and he is stronger than he believes he is, because he was able to overcome this and become who he is today, and that is one of the main guys in modern art. And I just thought, this was just so really just informative and awesome that I could not wait to blog about it. So check it out and let me know what you think, and I will talk to everyone soon. See ya.